One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Ty Brown and welcome to One Question, where we highlight executive leaders in college athletics. Our guest today is Noreen Morris. Noreen is currently the conference commissioner at the Northeast Conference. Greetings, Noreen. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Very honored to be part of your podcast.
Well, I'm actually very glad that you're here today. Now, Noreen, you've been in the college athletics industry for roughly 30 years now. Spent time at UConn, Conference USA, Northwestern. You even coached some ball for a little bit. But you've been at Northeast Conference since 2010, and when I met you, I think we were at NACDAD, a Women Leaders in College Sports reception, and you talked about you were proud of what you've done with technology in the conference. And looking at some of your bio, I noticed that right off the bat, when you started there and created the strategic plan, technology was a part of the direction you wanted to take things. Can you give us some insight on why it was important to emphasize that particular aspect when creating the strategic initiatives for the conference back when you first arrived?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I arrived here in 2010 and almost immediately embarked on a strategic planning exercise. And during that exercise, it became clear with our NEC presidents that they really wanted to try to take advantage of the technological advances that were happening so quickly in the space, especially when you looked at video content and video streams and getting events live for fans to see. And so at that point in time, our presidents were very forward-thinking and understood that if you invest in yourself, so if they invest in their conference, and utilize technology, that would be able to better provide our student-athlete experience not only on campus, but to allow our fans to appreciate all that our student-athletes are doing. And so they actually fully funded the development of the NEC Front Row, which is our digital network. They didn't know at the time when they said, well, here's the money, go forth and conquer and come up with an idea for technology and how to better build our brand. And so I really give credit to our senior associate here in the office, Ron Ratner. You know, he had a vision how he wanted to take the directive from the presidents and say, let's take this money and invest it in our own digital network. And we looked around, we did our research just like everybody would, and there's lots of options and lots of opportunities to partner with various firms who were in the space at the time. But, you know, we're a smaller conference. Our budget is not nearly as big as many others out there who had already created their own digital networks. And we tend to do things a little bit different than other conferences and maybe take some more chances. And in this case, we took a chance. We went with a smaller startup digital tech firm called PAC Network. They're out of Boston. And we partnered with them for a couple of reasons. One is Ron and the folks who are involved with PAC Network were like on the same page that we wanted to create a digital network that was the NEC's network. We wanted to have full control over the content, the design, the look, the amenities that we would provide. And so we worked hand in hand to create the look that we wanted, as opposed to being a cookie cutter approach that others might, have kind of put us into. So it was a really fun project because it was a first for us, and it was really a first for PAC Network. But in the end, we were really proud of what we came up with. We launched in August 2012, and it has been a huge success since we started it.
Right. I'd imagine. So you say it's been a huge success, and of course, you've been in that leadership role for at least 8 years with the Northeast Conference, and we talked offline, and you've been around other great leaders, so you understand the importance of evaluation. How have you evaluated the success of those enhancements that you've been able to do?
Yeah, we track all of the visitors to the site. So each year we show for every game, every sport, every school, the average viewers, average minutes, and every year that goes up. And with each year, we also try to increase the enhancements. So I think the biggest enhancement we have is what we've had since the beginning. It's free. So we have free access. There's no subscription fee, and that was very intentional. Our presidents and our membership wanted to be a very fan-friendly conference, especially in the digital space. And so we knew we wanted more eyes on our product. We wanted more exposure. And so the free was very intentional. Each year we try to provide something new. So, obviously HD broadcast, DVR capabilities, we have instant archive access. So each year we try to provide even more amenities for our fans so that they have the best experience with the ease of access, because it is free. You don't need passcode, you don't need a cable subscriber, you don't need any of that.
And I'm sure that throughout the whole time frame, you've heard tremendous positive feedback from the fans that have been able to consume the product that you're presenting to them.
It's great. I'll be at a game and someone will come up and say, are you the NEC commissioner? And you always say, yes. Not sure why they're asking.
Right.
And, I can think of at least a half a dozen times that someone has said, I love the NEC Front Row.
Okay,
that is so great. It's so easy to use. So fans, either they tell that to me when I'm at a game. I get emails from parents say, hey, I live overseas, and I've been able to watch my son or daughter, even though I can't be there. I can watch every game. I really appreciate that because it's available, domestically and internationally. Our own membership, our coaches tell us it's one of the best recruiting tools they have, especially for the international recruits or for those who are across the country. So they sell that to the parents. Say, listen, you might not be able to come to every game, but you will have access to every game that we play. And if you miss it, it's instant archived, so you can go back and watch it. You can watch it over and over again if you want. Our own presidents, they tell me, I'm out of the country, or I'm at a board meeting, or I'm on a train to New York, and I can watch the game with my phone, my iPad, or on the computer. So has easily been one of the biggest assets, if not the biggest asset the conference has, in terms of brand awareness and just the overall student-athlete experience.
And seeing that it's been so successful, have you heard from other conferences, specifically conferences which have similar resources to the Northeast Conference? Have you heard from other leagues who may want to follow your lead and copy this type of thing?
Yeah, we've talked to a lot of different conferences, especially early on how we built out the Front Row, the digital network, and some other initiatives that we've actually moved to as well, knowing that we took a leap of faith, in a sense, to do the NEC Front Row with PAC Network, knowing they hadn't done that before, and nor had we. Again, I give credit to Ron Ratner in my office. He's very forward-thinking and innovative, and is always trying to find new ways to provide the same services others are providing, but at a much more economically feasible way. And so, our Front Row, we probably built it out for including everything, cameras, equipment, internal equipment, probably less than to 300,000, maybe 250,000 total. And so we really pride ourselves on saying to the president, listen, we're giving you the same services everyone else is getting, but we're doing it in a way that's not breaking your bank. And so the next initiative that we actually jumped into was the instant replay. And we used instant replay originally for basketball from our Front Row broadcast, but it really only gave you whatever the angle was that was broadcast on the network, right? So you had one look at it, which isn't ideal. And in football, because a lot of the FCS conferences were going to instant replay, we knew we needed to come up with an answer, but a lot of our stadiums weren't already outfitted with the fiber cable, throughout the stadium. And to do that, just to put the fiber cable down would have been hugely expensive. And so I just happened to be talking to somebody who was looking to create an app where they would allow parents to use their iPhones to videotape their kids' games. It would go up into the cloud. The app would then use artificial intelligence to create highlight films. And so I actually connected this gentleman, to Ron in my office, again, because he did this for his own kids' games, right? So he he was the coach. He was also the videographer, putting, cameras up in the gym and doing highlight films of his own games. And so in talking with Ron, the idea, he had some legs to it, but there were a lot of moving parts, especially with the parents having to be the people holding the cameras. But as I was listening to the idea, it was cheap cameras, wireless, using an app, and I thought, well, if this youth sport thing doesn't work out, can you create for me an instant replay system? Because we need something that's wireless. And so it was probably 8-9 months later, came to our league meeting and presented a concept, presented us with what the cameras would look like, and the cameras would be less than $300 that could do 4 zoom or 18 zoom, depending on if you were doing basketball or football. They could be robotic. They could be remote controlled. And all you need is a MacBook Pro and these cameras that we'd place all around the field. So when we went out on a limb on the front row, that was one thing. This was a completely other limb. I mean, it was a much longer limb.
Right.
But it really worked out well. So we piloted it in basketball 2 seasons ago to huge success. Then we piloted and then we implemented fully in football last year. So football, we have 12 camera angles, all HD with the 4X or 18X zoom. And like I said, some of it's remote controlled, some of it's robotic, some of it's artificial intelligence follows the ball. So it's really amazing. So it's worked out really well. It was we spent. We got the most favored nation pricing since we were the first ones in, so I won't give it exactly what we spent, but it was less than $10,000 per school.
Okay.
To do this.
Excellent.
And so that has been a huge success because now we have a state-of-the-art. We have more camera angles than the industry standard has. And we're able to get the plays right. And so we're really excited about how that turned out. And then we've continued to partner with the same company. It's called Wing Warp. It's out of San Francisco. And we've partnered with them since they've created a new graphics package for us. Started with basketball, and now we're doing football and all other sports. And what's neat about the graphics package is it is cut down the pre-production time frame. Our SIDs had been putting hours into pre-production of graphics for the previous graphics package, and in this case it's all automated. So you just have to build out, you have to put in all the rosters in advance, and then the graphics package actually operates with stats coming in from the scoreboard as well as coming in from what other like it used to be Stats Crew, now it might be Genius with the new NCAA stats program, but so there's so much less need to input all the data throughout the broadcast. So it's very intuitive, and so it's really cut down on how much time our staffs on campus are putting in pre-production, as well as the ability to do so much more with the broadcast and make a robust broadcast.
Well, Noreen, it sounds like you guys exist right on the cutting edge of technology and sports and how it can make things more efficient and cost effective when you talk about the grand scheme of operating in college athletics.
We like to think so.
Well, this has been an excellent conversation. I really think there might be some things here that people listening could probably glean away from it, and we'll probably contact you to find out a little more about it and about what you're doing there at the Northeast Conference. I really appreciate you joining us here on the One Question podcast.
Yeah, thank you. And we welcome any calls. We're more than happy to share the good news in terms of how we're doing things.
That was Noreen Morris. She's the commissioner of the Northeast Conference. She's been there since 2010 and has made a good number of technological advances. And of course, this is Ty Brown with One Question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.